No matter what else is happening in the world, one subject never fails to make headlines: oil. Why is oil so important? Simple. Usable energy is the world's most important resource, and oil and gas are the most important sources of usable energy. Some of the products made from oil and gas are obvious: the gasoline that fuels our cars, trucks, and SUVs, the natural gas we burn to cook or to heat and cool our homes, the jet fuel that allows planes to travel the world. But the world is full of products that most people don't associate with oil and gas: building materials, personal products, medical supplies, appliances, food products, apparel, and toys. The truth is, most of the things we take for granted in our daily lives either use petroleum as an ingredient or in the manufacturing process. Without oil and gas, life as we know it would come to a screeching halt. At the end of the day, oil and gas directly contribute to the world's economies. In fact, 80% of the energy growth from 2000 to 2020 will result from improving living standards in developing parts of the world. Quenching the world's thirst for oil is harder than it used to be. For one thing, traditional sources are declining. The lower 48 states of the U.S., for example, are producing less than half the oil they did in 1970. Production in the North Sea and the Alaskan North Slope is in decline. And the greatest producer of crude oil in the world, the Middle East, is plagued with war and instability that threaten accessibility to that region's resources. Further complicating the situation is the fact that drilling is lagging behind consumption. Currently, for every 10 barrels of conventional oil consumed, only 4 new barrels are discovered. Demand is up. Supply is down. And when demand exceeds supply, prices go up. To oil and gas investors, it means that now is the time to take advantage of this opportunity. But will the demand for fossil fuels continue long term? And what about alternative fuel sources? The fact is, technology has not yet been developed that can make the reliable, large-scale production of alternative energy economically feasible. And the alternative fuels getting the most press, electricity, hydrogen, and ethanol, rely on oil and gas for their generation and distribution. Fossil fuels, oil, gas, and coal, account for about 88% of the world's energy consumption. And the world likely will stay dependent on fossil fuels as our primary source of energy for the next 30 to 50 years. The United States and Japan have long been the primary consumers of fossil fuels. But population growth and economic development are changing the picture. China recently surpassed Japan in oil consumption, becoming the world's second largest importer of oil after the United States. 2 factors are driving China's demand. The first is transportation. People are buying more automobiles and need petroleum products to fuel them. At the current growth rate, by 2030, China will have more cars than the U.S. and will import as much oil as the United States does today. The second factor is energy. As China's economy booms, energy demand goes up, and with it, the need for fuel to generate electricity. Although the country has major coal reserves, the Chinese government is moving toward cleaner burning sources of energy, like oil and gas, due to environmental and health concerns. At the same time, China's oil production is leveling off. The country now imports 1/3 of its oil, and analysts estimate that by 2020, China may import 75% of its oil. A similar situation exists in India. Although the economy is not growing as quickly as China's, oil consumption is skyrocketing. At current projections, India's oil demand will grow from 2.1 million barrels a day in 2001 to 5.5 million barrels in 2025. About 70% of that increase will come from the transportation sector. What that means to investors is this: As other countries use and import more oil, our ability to control the oil market weakens. For the first time in history, the U.S. is competing for the world's oil and gas supplies. And as competition for energy resources rises, so do prices. With discovery trailing consumption, ever-increasing demand around the globe, and alternative energy sources still unfeasible, the potential for financial rewards is high. It's why oil is still referred to as black gold, and why investors should get in the market now.